Hello everyone, my name is Ayman. Today I will explain how to configure a wireless access point. So we have in this network one router and two access points and four different devices. So I'm already added the router and the access point, and I put just the IPs. So I will just remove the name. Okay, so for example, we need to change, this is the display name, AP1, AP2. Okay, so we need to add the devices. We have a smartphone. So we have the smartphone, the first one, then the tablet, then the PC, and the laptop. I will do the same thing. I will change the name. I remove the names which is added here. So we'll keep like this. So by default, these two devices, they have to connect with a default network, and these, because it is still keep the default name, so it is connect automatically with it. So on these two devices, they don't have wireless devices, so it is not connect until we add the wireless connect. So we need to connect the devices by the cable. We have the copper crossover from the router. I will select the same port in the figure for the network 00 to connect to the access point. There's just one port in the access point. And the same thing we do with the second port 01 to the access point port 0. So we connect, but as you can see, it is not active yet, red, because we did not configure yet the ports. So the first step we need to configure the ports for the router, which is 00 and 01. So one click on the router, and we can go to the config, then to the Ethernet 00. So we can add the IP here for this one, which is 192.168.1.1. So this one here for the 00, and the default subnet mask, we will keep the same one. And we need to turn on the router and this interface. So you can see now it is green, which means it is active ports. So we did this in this interface, and also we can do in the CLI. So you can see all the comments which we do in the interface. It is happen here by the comment. So you can see it is start with the enable, then they active the ports, and the end we turn on, so no shutdown. So we need to do the same thing with the second interface, which is the 0/1. So click on it, and we need to put the IP for it, which is 192.168.2.1. And the default subnet mask, you can see this happen. When I turn on, it will be no shutdown. You can see no shutdown here. So we active the second interface. So now you can see it is connected. So this is the first step, configure the router interfaces. We need to go to the access point and click. So we need first to change the SSID for the access point 1 to the AP1. This is the display name. We need to go to the port 1 and change the default SSID to the AP1. So you can see there should be this disconnect, because this is, as I mentioned, it is connect with the default network, and because it is still this default, so it is connect both of them to it. So now it is on, and the port IP1, everything is ready in the access point 1. The access point 2, we need to do the same thing. Go to the config, port 1, and change the SSID to the AP2. So you can see they disconnect all of them now, because now both of them doesn't have the default name. But here in the access point 2, we need to add, we need to enable the WEP key, which is the WEP is the standard for the wired equivalent privacy. So this one key is just like the password by the hexadecimal string used for authenticating and encrypting the wireless connection between the laptop and the desktop with the access point device. And we have two options. We have 10 hexadigit and also 26 hexadigit. I will keep the default one, 10, and I will select my key, ABCDEF1234. So now I have the default one. If I add one, it will be 11. It is not accepted, so it will show you the key should be 10 hexadigit long. So I need to keep this one. So now I change the name, and also I enable the WEP key. So I finished configure the two access points. Now I will start to configure the devices. So the smartphone. So we need to go to the desktop, then IP configuration, and we need to change the dynamic to the static IP configuration, and we put the static one, which is 192.168.1.2, the same here. We keep the default subnet mask, and also we need to add the default gateway, which is 192.168.1.1. Sorry, 192. So now it is we added the IP and the default gateway. Then we need to configure the wireless network. We need to change the SSID to the AP1, which is we need to connect this one to the AP1. So now it should be start connect. Okay, now it is connected. We put the IP and also the access point 1. The same thing we need to do with the tablet. So if I start with the config the wireless, it will be connect even with the dynamic IP1. Okay. So it should be start connect. Okay, now it is connect, but we need, as I mentioned, need to change the IP from the desktop, desktop to the IP configuration. We change to the dynamic to the static. Then we put the IP, which is 192.168.1.3. Okay, and keep the default subnet mask, and we need to change the default gateway to the 192.168.1.1. Yeah. So now we change the IP and also select the network. So you can see this is not connected, as I mentioned, because there is no wireless device to connect. So if I go to the laptop, click, and you can go to the config, there is no option to select the wireless to configure. We have the fast Ethernet, which came with the device. So I need to replace it first. Then I select the network, then I put the IP. So go to the physical. So you can see here this one, the default one. So it is came for this one should be this is the LAN wire interface card, so which I need to remove it. So if I remove it, it will show me error because the laptop is on. You can see cannot remove a module when the power is on. So I need to turn off, then remove it. So by default, they show me the first device in the list, which is wireless. I needed WPC300N. So if I click on the second one, it will change the device here. Third one, the same. Fourth, fifth, like this. So by this way, I need to just drag and drop the wireless device and put instead of the LAN wire interface card. So, and turn on the laptop again. So now I need to go to the desktop. Sorry, let me configure the interface. You can see here the wireless added. So I need to select the wireless and go change to SSID to connect with the AP2. The AP2 is encrypted, so I need to select the WEP and put the key for it to connect. And the last thing, we need to configure the IPs. So you can see it is connect with the dynamic. So I need to change this to the static one. So I need to put the IP 192.168.2.2. Keep the default subnet mask, and also I need to add the default gateway 192.168.2.1. This one. So now should be this device ready. We need to do the same thing with the desktop. Click on it. So first I need to change the device, the wireless. You can see again there is no wireless interface to configure. So I need first go to the physical and change the LAN wire interface card. And the same thing, we need to turn off the desktop and remove it, and move the wireless and put in a slot, then turn on. This is the first step. And I need to now I can configure the wireless interface, which I need to add the AP2 and put the key. And now it should be start connect. And I can do the last thing, change the IP from the dynamic to the static. So I have the IP 192.168.2.3. The default subnet mask, I keep the same one, and I will change the default gateway. For this network, so now I finished the configure the PC, so I have now two networks. This is the default gateway for this network, and I have two devices connect with the key WEP key, and I have the second network which is connect with this default gateway, and this is the two devices. So the last thing we need to do is to test the connection between the devices, use the ping and the message. So if I want to use the ping, I can open any device. For example, I go to this smartphone, I need to go to the desktop, then to the command prompt, and here I can ping. So any device, I will ping to for example, the desktop. So 192.168.2.3. So you can see it is successful connect. Also, I will try to connect with the laptop. And also I will try to connect with the tablet, which should be also working. So now the devices connect together. I will try again to connect, for example, from the laptop, go to the command prompt, and I will ping to the desktop 192.168.2.3. The same thing if I want to try with the smartphone. And the last thing I will try with the tablet. Is successful too. Also, we can try to test by send a message from any device to the other. So if I click here on the message and I will put the message from the smartphone until for example, the desktop. So you can see here, they show you it is successful. So successful from the smartphone to the PC. Okay, I can do the same thing from the from the laptop to the tablet. So you can see it is successful from laptop to the tablet. So the connect for all the devices in this network, it is working now. And this is the simple example about how to configure the access point in small network like this one. Thank you for watching this video. See you next time.